Welcome to Morning Thoughts, where the only official quarantined individual so far is Josh Sass.
Just putting NyQuil in my coffee, baby. I'm going to beat this thing.
Snorting lines of emergency. With me also, Matt. Thank you for waking up this morning.
Good to be back.
Super proud of you. Now, what's up today, Josh?
Wow. I've never seen you this sad.
Nah, not sad.
Okay.
Just living in a pandemic. Just alive.
This is crazy.
At the end of the world.
What, Mac?
This is crazy. Like that.
So both German leagues and both French leagues announced that they locked their soccer doings to.
Literally, the only way to describe it is just like pure craziness. Like whoever would have thought the day that all four like major sports leagues in the United States would be suspended or canceled. Well, I mean, the NFL hasn't officially been like suspended yet,
But they moved things. That's the
yeah.
They canceled the owners' meeting. They restricted travel for almost all teams, which means that, in all seriousness, if you look at it, like I was explaining to Greg last night, I was like, teams are absolutely going to file a grievance saying that they didn't get time to do their due diligence on these draft picks.
Yeah.
The draft is most likely going to move, even if they do it virtually.
Wow. I don't know. Let's just, for like 30 seconds, can we just talk about how awesome Vo's hat and merch is that he made for St. Patty's Day? I have a hat on. It makes me feel like the alcoholic Care Bear, and I'm here for it. I think that this is the nicest hat we've ever made. I love all the TFTP drinking gear stuff. Unfortunately, we won't be able to be together when we wear it. But I just want to shout out Bo because I just think these are they tickle me. I'm all about it. So
yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, there's still that beer pong, the SBIS, IBIBS or whatever. But man, my thing is I don't trust any of the idiots that I would go out to the bar that are at the bar while I'm drinking at the bar. Because they're going to pull a Rudy Gobert and start putting fingers in drinks and be like, coronavirus, and it's just going to be stupid.
Right.
Yeah, completely agree.
It's not worth the risk, at least for 2 weeks, apparently, is what seems to be the standing thing. Yeah. Just wild. How much?
I almost started a petition to move St. Patrick's Day to the summer.
Why didn't we start a petition?
Because I had this discussion with someone at work who is a big St. Patrick's Day parade person, and she said that's just called good weather day drinking. And I was like, that's fair.
But it gives us an excuse to good weather day drinking.
Yeah, but good weather is the excuse to good, and just the ability to drink.
Oh, all right.
I was like, I guess that makes sense.
I guess so.
Just pick a random Saturday and call it St. Patrick's Day. Just be like, yeah, it's nice out. This is St. Patrick's Day.
Let's have a parade.
Have a parade.
That is kind of what Penn State does with State Patty's Day.
Yeah, but it's supposedly it's around St. Patrick's Day though.
Wow.
It's like within like a week or two.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that normally the weekend before or after?
Normally, it helps them with spring break, right? So they adjust for spring break, basically.
Okay.
I promised Zach Yinzermott that we talk about this off the top, so I want to make sure we get it in. The XFL just canceled the rest of the season.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, no.
Well, I mean, so did the NCAA for every sport.
I understand that, but like the NCAA isn't in their inaugural season.
It's crazy too because they're also paying all of the athletes like their base pay.
Yeah.
I mean, they came out and announced they still have plans to play a full schedule next year. But, like, you'd have to think, I mean, it probably puts a pretty big it probably cuts into their bottom line a lot, you would think.
Heavily.
So,
Well, if they did so much investing like they said they did, I would assume they invested in some sort of act of God fund. You would hope so. Like if you're telling me that there's like $500 million invested just by Vince McMahon himself, and that's not like that's half the pot, you would assume that they have to have been smart enough to make an act of God fund.
Yeah, something to where they win.
Yeah.
Everyone cancels leagues because of coronavirus.
It does suck though for that league. I mean, it sucks for every league, but it sucks for that league because it's like inaugural season. They're struggling to remain as relevant as they'd like to be. I think the live action of that is good, and they do have some diehard fans. But for me, it fell off a lot. It lasted longer than the AAF for me, because of the name value of certain guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see them coming around for a second season? Yeah, I do. Do I see them for a third season? Probably not.
Yeah, I think the consistency of it would probably fall off over the course of the next couple of years. I mean, it's just it doesn't have that wow factor. It's kind of just like,
It's bad college football.
Yeah, football. I mean, I've watched probably 15 minutes total of XFL football this year.
The beer snakes were great. It's just you can't make a beer snake without gloves on now.
I mean, if you add in the 1 minute highlight videos on Instagram and Twitter, maybe an hour.
Who has 45 1-minute videos of highlights of the XFL?
So there you go, Zach. If you want to
We're
talk
sorry,
more
Zach,
about
because I know you love the XFL.
I did. Just because Quentin. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I had a rooting interest in a guy that
I did say I'm sorry, Zach, but I'm also sorry, Josh, because I know you love the XFL.
I just the number of hockey seasons that have had interruptions in my lifetime is insane. I really only love one sport. And now for 3 different occasions, I've either had a truncated season, a canceled season, or now whatever the hell this is.
I would say though that this is the only one that wasn't the NHL's fault, right?
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
This is the only one that's not the NHL's fault.
It's just going to be the one question that I have, or the one concern that I have is this suspension of play, is this pause of play going to be gonna have a permanent effect?
Champions League was just suspended.
Did they suspend the EPL yet?
Yeah. Oh no, not the EPL, just the Europa. Sorry, back. Go ahead.
I think the Premier League is having a meeting today.
Well, Chelsea's sick, so
after the news came out about the
Mikel Arteta.
Manager, yeah. But my concern is this suspension of play gonna have a permanent effect on when the seasons are played, if you know what I mean? I think someone brought it up on, I think maybe it was ESPN last night, that if you think about it, the NBA is gonna suspend play for a month or more, and then is it gonna push it far back enough to where they're not gonna be able to start next season in August, September, you know what I mean? So there's no off season. Are they gonna change the off season?
Yeah, I don't think it permanently changes. I think Silver's smart enough to realize that the schedule they have is pretty awesome, and so if let's say it pushes it back for just a month, I think I think what they could do is shorten the rest of the regular season, which would suck for teams that are vying for the playoff spot. But at the same time, it sucks for every team now, so you can't really make that a thing. But if they do play it all out, it's interesting for me for 3 sports, and I know there's a lot more going on, and that's basketball, football, and the NCAA.
Yeah.
And the reason it's the most interesting for those is because NBA, if you push it back far enough, you're then playing the championship in July and August, and that's prime free agent time. That's prime travel time. So then your preseason is shrunk and free agents don't have time to gel or mesh. So if you push the season to start, what they could do is just shorten next season as well, do a half season. the NFL, the reason it's really frustrating and big for me is because let's say that they push the draft back, then they're pushing a lot of things back. They expect the regular season to be fine, but they don't have the owners meeting. They won't have the coaches meeting. They won't have these pivotal things that decide a lot of the rules and decisions that go into the season, a lot of the input. And then for the NCAA, the reason that everything had to be canceled is because everyone's like, well, just postpone. If you postpone March Madness 3 months, you're then competing with the fact that 97, I think it is, % of those athletes are not going pro. So that degree is their closing factor of that entire endeavor. And you're going to tell me that while they are trying to graduate, finalize that, or even after they graduate, finalize that, they then have to play for the school. That why would the school give them any kind of liability or anything like that? They're not students for them technically anymore. And then you talk about guys that are going to go pro, like the kid out of Georgia or whatever, or Toppin out of Dayton. It's like he's going to the draft. He's going to the NBA. Are you really going to tell me that a month from the draft he's going to be playing in March? You know what I mean? Like it's all this pushback conversation that affects so much more than people think.
Not to mention NCAA is all about equality, right? How can you turn around and tell the hockey teams they're not allowed to compete for a national championship, but basketball is?
Yeah.
Like I get the money aspect of it, absolutely, right? Like one far outweighs the other, but you can't Title IX everybody to death and then be like, actually, sorry, basketball's the only one that gets to finish their season. Like that's nuts.
Well, and there's also guys that are trying to get to the Olympics. I mean, think about college sports.
A lot of the track
college
athletes.
sports in the college sports in the spring, where it's track, where it's a lot of those different types. Like track and field is in the spring, so a lot of these guys are missing their chance to get to the next level, and that's their career. You have like 1 shot, 2 shot at the Olympics, maybe if you're top tier.
Right.
That's wild.
And if they don't cancel the Olympics, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, 100%.
So this kind of gets into it. So this week on Thoughts from the Bench, Morning Thoughts, I spoke with every league in the world, and they decided to let us be the champion deciders. Do you believe me? Good. So right now,
who's the commissioner of basketball?
That guy that banged the envelope off the side of the drum.
He died.
Oh. Well, he should still be the commissioner because this never would have happened.
Just keep going.
So here's the deal. Here's the way I have it set up.
It's the lizard person, Josh.
Exactly. You have to at least be in the playoffs right now to win a championship, okay? So we're going to decide the champions of the NBA, the NHL, Champions League, and the NCAA.
Okay.
Lakers.
For
all sports. Lakers for
they won everything.
Yeah, Lakers for baseball.
Ron finally put on skates. Everybody was very excited about it.
No, okay, so let's start with basketball. The Lakers and Celtics had a really, really good NBA Finals, and it was good that both teams are back in the NBA Finals. And just, shout out to myself, called it on the first night of the NBA when the Celtics played the 76ers, because I think the 76ers are a bunch of frauds and scams. But, the Lakers-Celtics were finally back in the finals together, and the Lakers won in 5 games.
LeBron James had a huge series.
Oh, you didn't hear?
Won the Finals MVP.
LeBron decided to sit out because he was just bored. So
because there were no fans,
he didn't get another title. Yeah.
So it was all just Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Him and Alex Caruso.
Did he start? Did he get the starts?
Oh yeah. Yeah. LeBron just said, "I'm going to sit out this one."
So even though the Bucks are like running over everybody, you don't think they would stand a shot?
I do. I just called the Celtics after the first game, and it looks likely. And the Bucks are an interesting team because Giannis is. I mean, it's literally the Bucks created the LeBron James case study with different people. It is, you give me one guy that is not able to be recreated by science, and then surround him with a shooter, a rebounder, a blocker, a defender, and then some scrappy little white guy. And boom, you have the LeBron James syndrome.
Just basically form a team around this guy and let him go to work.
Yeah, it's like every comic book stereotype ever. Like, get the leader, get the gadget guy, get the chick that's from another planet. It's like, yeah. So, yeah, I'm picking the Lakers versus Celtics in the NBA Finals, and the Lakers, congratulations on another title.
You are
So, should the Jazz and Thunder even be allowed to participate in the playoffs?
The who?
The Jazz and the Thunder in our fictional scenario.
Are those, I'm sorry, what sport do they play?
Basketball?
Never heard of them.
The Jazz and the Thunder?
Mm.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
I've never heard of those two teams that caused the NBA to get shut down. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm saying that I don't want to talk about them, that they ruined NBA, that I'm mad at them, that they suck, that it kicked them out of the league. They're no longer in the NBA.
No,
I legitimately thought I had the wrong fucking teams. Like, I was like pretty sure those were the two teams that were playing when the NBA got shut down. Like, I'm almost positive. And then you like totally pulled the rug out from underneath me.
Oh, man. No, they're banned.
It's Rudy Gobert's fault. He's banned for the rest of his life.
True. I guess it's not really the Thunder, but the Thunder aren't making the playoffs anyway, so.
Yeah, aren't they like?
They're in sixth or fifth. Yeah, they're fifth.
I think they fall. If the season would progress, I think they would fall out of that.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that I've seen, well, that's not true, but one of the early things I saw was when people were giving Gobert a third straight Defensive Player of the Year award for shutting down the whole league.
Yeah.
I like it. It cracks me up.
So what sport are we doing next?
My favorite sport, the NHL.
The Ducks.
The Ducks aren't in the playoffs, but
Nobody's in the
long
playoffs,
shot.
Josh. No one's in the playoffs.
No one's in the playoffs.
Even if the playoffs were to go on, the Ducks still wouldn't be in it.
Are we awarding it or who we thought would have?
Who we thought.
That sucks. I'd award it to the Penguins.
Okay, you're going to award it to the Penguins? All right. Mac?
I'm going to say the Penguins just because it's the Penguins.
You don't want to give it to the Sabres?
No, they're not even like close to the playoffs. Are they?
I know, but we're just making shit up now.
Well, no, if it's a team that we actually think is going to win it, like if we are projecting, like okay. you were like the team. It's I would say that I would like to veer away from the Capitals just because they're a bunch of poo-poo platters. Yeah. So I would I'm going to go back to back. St. Louis.
St. Louis back to back.
Yeah.
So mine is actually very similar, but it is interesting, the idea of that month that they might be off is roughly the month the Penguins would need to have Jake Gensel back in time for playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought if you're the rest of the NHL, unless you're the Boston Bruins.
Wasn't he supposed to be back for like the first round of the playoffs anyway?
Second round is what the most recent thing had said. Like game 7 of the first round if it had gone that far.
Okay.
But the Bruins, first off, are like they have 100 points already.
Yeah.
They're beating the pants off of everybody in the league. And for me, like I liked them as going back to the Cup even before all of this other stuff started, like at the beginning of the season, because they still have the tools. Their top line only makes like bargain barrel money, and they're the best top line in all of hockey. They're kind of in a scenario where it's like they know they only got 2 more shots at the can with Big Z, and like before their incredible blue line needs paid. Tuukka's in his prime. Like there's a lot of factors where you could see them going back and possibly beating any one of the teams out of the West, because I'm not really impressed with anybody.
Don't hate it, man. I hate Boston, but you're right.
Yeah, gotta go Bruins. Champions League. Do you guys need to know who's left, or are you aware?
All I know is Liverpool's out.
Yep, but that's not what they were there to do. They don't care.
Who's left, Josh? Enlighten us.
I can't ever say this one. It looks like Atlanta, but it's not. Atalanta.
No, the Italian team. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Atletico, Leipzig, PSG, Chelsea, Munich, Napoli, Barca, Madrid, Man City, Lyon, and Juventus. Juventus has to play Lyon still in the second leg. Man City has to play Madrid. Barca has to play Napoli, and Munich has to play Chelsea. I think Chelsea has to be disqualified.
Why is that?
They got the corona.
Them and Arsenal, man. I mean, so does Juventus.
Juventus has corona?
Their center back was the first soccer player named with the coronavirus. The Juventus team has been quarantined for a couple days now, including Cristiano Ronaldo. You don't read my blogs.
No, I have been very busy trying to make funny memes and jokes on Twitter.
Okay. If I'm actually sitting here and I'm going to pick a team that I believe could win and that I would like to see win, it would probably be Atletico Madrid. They always do extremely well in the UCL.
I'm so sorry, it's Real.
Atletico's in. They just beat Liverpool.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
You're okay. I don't know, like, douche.
Ash is still salty.
He's like, no, they're out. No, I love PSG. I love Juventus. Obviously, I would like to see Man City get shit upon. Lyon is an interesting one. They're always a really good French team, but when PSG got their money, they kind of went down the drain. But Atletico always does amazing in the Champions League, and they never have a shot at La Liga simply because they always play with Real Madrid and Barcelona. But they always have a really good Champions League, so I'd like to see them win that.
I'd like to see PSG win just because of how they already celebrated their first round victory. I mean, they were like literally, like it looked like they were literally hanging off the side of the stadium celebrating with their fans the other night. It was crazy. Like seeing the photos from the celebration was wild.
And now they all have coronavirus.
And I think that celebration was worth a championship already. So PSG.
Or to see what the championship celebration would look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Bayern Munich?
Munich is a beautiful team, and
It could be like one of those, you know what I mean? Like just like systematically, they just happen to be clicking, and they can shut down a Juventus or a Barca, or you know what I mean?
They continuously have the number one team on paper that I've ever seen constructed, year in and year out. David Alaba is a magician. Robert Lewandowski is the best number 9 on the planet.
Fact.
And they just have speed with Koeman and Narby. So
I'm going to go with Bayern Munich just because I want the German team to win during the world crisis. All right. There were really only 6 teams that stood a shot at the NCAA championships, right? Kansas, Gonzaga, Baylor, Dayton, Duke, and Robert Morris. You know, obviously.
Especially the last one.
If you ask Dre, that's who was had the best shot. He said they had a clear line in as a 16. I can't believe he missed that half-court shot. Like, come on, Dre. Just help me out here, bud.
Do you really are you really surprised that he missed it?
No, but yes,
Not even
all
a
at the
little.
same time. Like he goes to a wrestling event and posts like 17 stories, right? That nobody watches, not even me. And then
he goes to the one thing we want him to go to, and he can't.
Like one of those things. It's like,
yeah.
Well, and the worst part is that Dre was 4 videos before I texted him. I said, "Hey, Dre, can you please announce to the nice people who you are and what they're looking at?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." And so then he's like, "I did it, but it didn't upload because I have no service." I said, "Don't it'll upload." I said, "Just common sense. Like you can't just start shooting shit. That's what you're doing."
Incredible. So who do you guys think? Like, could Dayton have really won?
No,
there's no way, right? Like, it was cute. Dayton was 4, whatever, but
they were number 3 in the country at one point, and Toppin is going to be a lottery pick easily. But it's just you look at the competition they played, and even though they dominated and look really good, we'll see. But I mean, can we pick Kansas or Duke for this? Because they pulled out before.
That's right. Duke quit.
Yeah.
In the most Duke move ever.
From what I said, they said they suspended athletic activities, but they weren't out of the tournament yet.
Yeah, they didn't get eliminated from the tournament, but they were like, hey, we're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah. But they were like, we're not out of the tournament.
Yeah. Total Duke move. Like the most Duke thing of all time.
It's the best. It's
Duke was the first team eliminated this year. That's all I'm saying. Man, that's a good. It sucks because like it's almost, even if we would have asked me that question right now, Josh, it'd almost be impossible because the conference tournaments didn't play and there's no selection Sunday, so you don't know who was in, who was out. Like you get an idea of the top teams, obviously. I don't know. I'm gonna say dark horse Baylor.
This season was like all over the place too. Like it was wild, like up and down. Like some number one teams lost, so there wasn't like a clear cut favorite.
Well, and Baylor just lost to WVU, but I think that at one point they were number one. I think they could have gone far, not win it, but gone far. So if you're actually looking at me and being like, who's going to win it? I had no idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I don't think I'd even be able to like make a guess. I mean, I could make a guess, but like
this is the year for a weird team. Yeah. So I'm going to go, you know what? Mark it. If they have it, USC Trojans.
You know what? I'm going to go Arizona State. Bobby Hurley.
Hey, they did win the AAC.
Nico Mannion.
They were crowned the champions. They're one of the only actual champions we have, which is nuts.
Who?
Arizona State was named the champions of the AAC.
They're not in the AAC.
Or ACC.
They're not in the ACC.
I don't know. I saw a thing.
I think you're thinking of Florida State.
No,
I'm thinking of the Seminoles because they were crowned the ACC.
Try the CCA.
We're talking Pac-12. Sun Devils are in the Pac-12.
So it must have been Arizona State. Somebody got a trophy handed to them
Florida
yesterday.
State.
Was it Florida State? Okay.
Florida State, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
In the ACC.
They're both South, and they both have state in their name, so you're okay.
You know, it's me.
Yeah.
Just different ends of the country.
Yeah,
so you're
pretty much.
It's okay.
Yeah.
They're both hot climates, too.
One's dry heat, one's a muggy heat.
There you go.
Both known for hot women.
Yes.
See, I stand by my case. So
somewhat similar colors too.
Yeah, there you go.
Both colleges and or universities.
Yes.
Both have food courts.
We still got two more topics, then we're out. Yesterday we put a poll on Twitter, which is worse, a season that never started or not finishing. Do you guys want me to tell you what the poll results finished as?
Sure.
Yes, do that first.
76% said not finishing a season is worse than never starting it. I would assume the 23% voted not never starting are all hockey fans.
Nope, I voted never starting.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. I am not the person that needs closure in these cases, but I will say that I watched the last NBA game of the year, and thank God I got to watch that game between the Mavs and the Nuggets because it at least left me in a sense of at least I got to watch some basketball. Yeah, I won't get to know who will win the NBA championship and all that and the whole season, but like for a long time, All-Star Weekend, all the trades at the beginning of the year, like there was so much action that like the need to crown a champion does not override my ability to enjoy the sport while it's going on.
I'd like to know how the season ends, though.
Who came back?
Saying. It's eventually.
Would you? I mean, literally, it's like you'd rather just not watch any basketball all year.
But like it's going to come back though at some point. Like it's not like the NBA is just done for the rest of eternity.
No, but in that case, it's not done for the rest of eternity either. You just didn't start the season. So at least in my case, you get some basketball.
Yeah, but like I'd rather know how the current season ends than.
No, that's not it. It's either it stops or it never started.
It stops and so
like the season is cut short and that's it, or the season never started.
So it stops and it doesn't finish. So the playoffs aren't finished. So you don't know how the season ends. You don't know who the champion is what I'm saying.
So you would rather not watch, you would rather there be no season than watch half a season.
Yes.
Wow.
That's asinine.
I'd like to know how the season ends.
So you would rather not watch LeBron James in a Lakers jersey one time all year only because you don't know how the season ends?
Well, I've already seen him in a Lakers jersey because.
Okay, so that's clearly better than if they weren't starting the season. It's so beat your chest sports fan to be like, if I can't get a final, throw the whole sport away.
You're not throwing the whole sport away because you know it's going to come back at some point.
Not in your case. The poll was either you do half a year and do not finish the sport, or you do not have the sport at all.
I thought we were just saying the season.
Is season was the
Okay,
wording.
but why would you not want some of the season as opposed to none of the season?
Because there's going to be another season.
There's not even going to be tomorrow, Mac. We're all going to fucking die, and you want to talk about next season? Are you kidding me?
I didn't know this was life or death, and the world was just going to end. So if we don't watch,
I feel like,
Hold on.
Mac, you're not a big hockey fan, right?
I'm cleaning Mac's take because it was so dirty and ugly.
I'm just saying, at some point we're going to be able to watch basketball again. So like going halfway through the season and not being able to know, like, it just ending, and there's no satisfaction of knowing who the champion is at the end.
I bet when you finish having sex, the sex is over, huh?
No, I'm going to have sex again.
Debatable. You're not going to be able to be in the same room with anybody ever again. What do you mean you're going to have sex again? Maybe with yourself.
We're all dead.
So here's the deal. There's the hockey fan in the room. And I've had to live through a season
Josh,
without
that
hockey.
mockery is bad for hockey. Please don't make fun of hockey.
Exactly. I don't even fucking care.
Fucking
But
douchebag.
like, I rather get a taste of it and a little bit of it than none of it, because that 2000 was
Yep.
2001, the 2001 year, like that season was the worst year of my life. I still remember being so bored. I had nothing to do. My friend and I burned a puck on our frozen pool that said the 2001 NHL season on it. We got in a lot of trouble. My mom's still not happy about that. But like,
Good thing you're 30.
right? It's just like, it was heartbreaking, and having nothing to do was just the worst thing in the world. And I would at least, and this is somebody who now I don't really tune into hockey, like actually sit down and watch the games until we get to this point in the year, because I will watch every NCAA game, every playoff game, all that kind of stuff. I stay in tune and I'll like peek in at different games throughout the season. But like actually sit down and like physically watch each game start to finish. This is when I start to like, sorry, honey, I'm not going to the grocery store. The Caps are playing the Avalanche at 1:00 on Sunday. So like, I'm heartbroken, but I'm at least happy that we had hockey than no hockey at all.
Yeah, here's my other thing. I wouldn't have gone to see the Penguins play last Sunday in a box seat if there was no hockey. So I'm pretty happy there was some hockey, Mac.
You really did have just like the luck of the Irish for every single seat this season, huh?
I sat perfectly up, middle ice, like perfectly up once. I sat 3 rows back from the glass with Josh, and then I sat in a box.
Nice.
It's a good year.
And still not a hockey. Well, I'm sorry. You're the biggest hockey guy.
I sit down and watch games.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
Duck season ticket holder on TV.
AT&T Sportsnet knows that my TV will be tuned on every day at 7. When do we think sports comes back? If it does.
60 days.
So you think it'll be back?
Yeah, I give it like a month to 2 months.
I think we're just seeing the beginning of this, and I think there's going to be conversations about players that don't want to come back too early because I read a tweet this morning. We won't know if we overreacted, but we'll know if we didn't react enough. Like, that's the thing. That's the world we live in right now. We have no idea if we're overreacting, but we will know one day if we did not react harshly enough. So I think players are even going to be like, yo, like, give us, like, let's take more time. Like, let's be smart about this. I would say even if they cancel seasons, I don't think we see something on TV that's an athletic event for 60 days at the least.
Okay. All right. Well, that wraps up Morning Thoughts. Derek, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Wash your hands.
Oh, was I supposed to say bye? You
Yeah,
didn't.
you can say bye.
You're good, man.